Want to hear more from your favorite analyst? Log on to HRTV.com to follow the HRTV host blogs. Updates from the backside, front side, and on location. The HRTV host will bring you the latest insight from behind the scenes. HRTV.com also gets you access to daily schedules, upcoming stakes and events, and the best part, HRTV programming live 24/7. Your internet connection is now your racing connection. HRTV.com, always running.
Welcome back to HRTV's Victory Lap with coverage of the Alltech FEI World Equestrian Games. I'm Jill Byrne.
And I'm Gil Merrick, coming to you from the Prevent Feeder International Equestrian Festival presented by HRTV. What a day we had, Jill.
Day 2, and once again we went out to the World Equestrian Games out there at the Kentucky Horse Park. So much happening. Gil, the reining already in their second day, I believe, of the reining discipline.
We'll know later today which team wins the reining team competition. The endurance riders went on course at 7 o'clock this morning. They have a 100-mile ride ahead of them. They'll be coming in just a few hours to see who's finishing that race. And today they were preparing for the beginning of the dressage competition, which kicks off tomorrow. And
you should see the saddles those endurance riders get to ride in, because 100 miles, you're going to want to be a little comfy.
That's right.
Well, let's take a look at what we saw today over at the Kentucky Horse Park.
I'm standing in the main competition arena here at the World Equestrian Games in Lexington, Kentucky, where dressage will be competed. It's especially exciting for me because for years, some of you may know, I was the team leader for the U.S. dressage team and had the privilege of supporting our team in Aachen, Germany in 2006 for the last World Equestrian Games, and also in 2007 in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil for the Pan American Games, and most recently in 2008 in Hong Kong for the Beijing Olympics. As is customary at these events, the first hurdle that the horses and riders need to pass is a veterinary inspection, where each rider jogs their horse past a panel of veterinarians to ensure that the horse is sound and fit for competition and ready to go. We had that event earlier this morning. All 4 horses for the U.S. are on board and ready to go. And we had a chance later on today to catch up with some of the U.S. riders and members of the team and see how they're doing with the training. Today, the riders and the horses from all the different countries had an opportunity to come into the main arena and do their last-minute training before they come in to compete. We're going to see a lot of the movements being trained today that they're going to be executed when they come in to ride their tests. You'll see trotting that becomes highly collected, where the horse has a lot of suspension and comes high off the ground, barely moving forward, and then making a transition into what's called the piaffe, where the horse will actually trot on the spot with highly elevated legs and a lot of dazzle and pizzazz. We're going to see extended trots, where the horse sends the front legs out and moves at the highest degree of extension for the trot. We'll see cantering exercises, and you'll see that the trainers from all the individual countries, the national trainers, are standing by to give the last tips for the riders as they make their final preparations. And you'll also see riders just letting their horses relax in the environment to get familiar with being here so that they're not overwhelmed on the first day of competition when the crowds are in the stands. And coming up a little later, we had an opportunity to catch up with the U.S. horses and riders and to see how they're doing.
And you know, I cannot wait to see this bit about the Americans, because home court advantage, maybe the home team, everybody rooting for the Americans. But what a great, vision in that stadium today. For me, watching these horses, I know for you it's old hat, but for me watching these horses, and I think people out there, it looks like they're just dancing on air.
It's a wonderful sport, and most of the horses in the competition have a minimum of 7 years of training under their belts before they reach the level to do this kind of discipline. And the horse and rider is only in the ring for 7 minutes. It's a very high energy, compact kind of competition with all this preparation that we got to see at the horse park. So it's very exciting to see it all coming together.
I kind of equate it the Kentucky Derby. There's the build up to that, and all 2 minutes for a 3-year-old to run around there. Right. All this build up, it's amazing. Well, speaking of build up, a lot happening here on the floor of the IEF. Let's check in with our own Doug Hyde. Doug, what's going on today?
Thank you, guys. Out here on the floor of the International Equestrian Festival, 200 booths, 100,000 square feet, and with me is Jason Reed.
Yes, sir.
From Kentucky Horse Supply. Yep. Now, Jason, we've been talking about the equine lifestyle, but you guys don't live the lifestyle. You are the life.
That's correct.
Hardcore gear back here.
That's right. We brought over 100 Western saddles out here to sell. These Western saddles are the things you'd see the average person riding a horse on an everyday basis. They're high quality. Here at this show, you can see more selection than you can at our regular shop, so it gives a lot of incentive for people to come out and take a look at something they normally don't get to see.
Okay, and you guys are out of Louisville.
Yes, sir.
How's the bluegrass here in Lexington treating you so far?
Well, it's been pretty good. This whole WEG experience in the International Equestrian Festival has made a lot of excitement and has drummed up business back at home and hopefully out here too as well.
Okay, very cool. Tell me a little bit about the type of saddles you guys represent.
Okay, we represent both Western and English saddles. Up here we brought mostly our Western saddles, and we brought a lot of our English lifestyle equipment, clothing, tack, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Most of our saddles we sell are for the average trail rider, the 1- and 2-horse backyard order, the person who likes to enjoy their horse on the weekend and go out and ride out in the country and come back, and not as much as the show crowd, but mostly the trail riding and pleasure crowd.
Gotcha. So a potential customer can come in here and actually, you know, get hands-on with these items.
We can do a custom fitting for their horse here and for the rider. Get the tack, the saddle, the girth, the pad, the bridle, everything. All they need is a horse to go ride.
HRTV's Victory Lap is brought to you by Prevent Feeders.
Welcome back again to HRTV's Victory Lap. And Gil, we had just a great day out at the Kentucky Horse Park today. But you know, we've mentioned before that this is the first time these games have been right here in the good old US of A, so it's kind of go team go.
It sure is, and 20 years we've been waiting to have it on our home turf, and here we go, and off and running.
And Gil got to catch up with the USA team.
I've caught up with Todd Fletcherich, a U.S. rider for the dressage team, riding Otto, who's standing with us in the background. Todd, thanks so much for taking the time out of your training schedule to be with us. Just curious, we caught up with Ann Gribben. She said you've been here for the better part of the week. How's Otto doing today, and how did he feel about going into the big stadium?
Otto feels great. Actually, Otto each day has gotten better and better as he's approached the WAG. And we have been in the arena once before in April. And Otto, in general, doesn't seem to be bothered by his surroundings. If he's happy with himself and happy with me, he's very happy to do his work.
Great. And what's your plan between today and the time you actually go down the center line and ride your test for the U.S.?
Well, I'm finished with him for the day. He will go home and get some sleep and go to the stable and get some rest, and rest also myself. I have family and friends here, so I will socialize with them. And get up early in the morning, and hopefully I get a good draw time. That's what my hopes are for. Maybe a few prayers might help too.
And what day did the team arrive here at the Kentucky Horse Park?
Last Sunday morning, they arrived early.
Yeah.
So we have been here for quite a while, which I think in some ways was an advantage. It was open to everyone, but we just opted to come a little early.
Great. So how many days of training has the team had now since you arrived?
We've had at least 3 weeks together.
All right.
A little more than 3 weeks together, because we had some intensive training in Gladstone, which we were all by ourselves in splendid isolation, and we really had time to iron out some things to polish. Of course, all these horses were trained when they arrived. If they weren't, we'd be in big trouble. But it was a matter of working on other things, such as how the test should look, which of course is one of my expertise things, since I'm a judge as well. And also we had media training.
Yep.
And we had a sports psychologist there, and we had some very nice bonding. But they worked hard at Gladstone. They were out every day, they showed up on time, they did their drill, they were fabulous, and they had a lot of time together.
Great.
A lot of lunches, lots of talks, lots of fun. So by the time we got here, they really felt like a team. I think that is probably the biggest benefit of that kind of a precursor.
I know one thing, Gil. I'm just going to say it right now. I am absolutely head over heels in love with Ravel. That is the most beautiful horse. I know they're all beautiful, but this horse just to me absolutely stands out.
You're a member of a very large fan club. He's a fantastic animal and just beautiful to watch the training. And you know, so much of what is going to play out in the field of play when the competition starts, all the horses and riders are trained to do the same movements. They go in and they execute the same test. What it really comes down to, like any other horse sport, is at that minute when they enter the competition arena and they go down that center line, are they at the peak of their performance? And it's sports psychology coming together with the nutrition of the athletes, everything that has to come together. And really, do they have what it takes emotionally and psychologically to go in and pull off the best that they've ever done at exactly the moment they need to bring it for.
So how do we stack up, Americans? Underdogs?
Well, I know after talking to Ann Gribbons that we've taken every step we can as a team to make sure those athletes are at the absolute peak of their game when they go down that center line.
Well, we're looking forward to that. Go team, go. Well, and now we are very pleased to be joined on the set by one of the most recognizable names and faces in the entire horse industry, Monty Roberts. And Monty, I know a lot of our HRTV viewers already recognize you from the weekly program there, but it's so good to have you on the set.
Well, it's great to be on the set. I'm enjoying every minute of this experience I'm having here in Lexington, my home away from home.
Well, and tell us a little bit about what you've been doing here. You're right here at the IEF, and we have the World Equestrian Games going on. You've spent a lot of time in Lexington, but so much taking place here. The horse world, the eyes of everybody are right here on the horse world capital here in Lexington, Kentucky.
I love it. I love it, particularly that they now have reining in the whole scenario. And went to the opening ceremonies last night. And it was just so fantastic to see all the disciplines there in all the countries. And I travel so much, you know, that I'm in most of those countries. And somewhere down there I have a friend in almost every one of those countries that came by. And I've worked a lot, for instance, with Christian Ludwig in Germany, and he's in the reining here and doing very well. So it's a happy time for me. I'm very pleased.
And as far as, you know, everybody knows of you from the movie, The Horse Whisperer, and of course your best-selling novel. You are the man who listens and talks to horses. Just tell us a little bit about, you know, your kind of your discipline, how you work with the animals.
Well, I have this thing about trying to work with the horses in their language, trying to work with the horses in their world, and thinking like they do, and trying to meet their needs in the absence of violence. And I mean, before I came along, there were champions, and horses will respond to a forceful kind of training. They will, and you can make a champion. My feeling is that we all do our work better if we're doing it because we want to than if we're forced to. And so I do this thing where I try to get into their world, into their minds, into their mindset, and cause them to be a partner with me. And I had a wonderful experience here today with an Akhal-Teke horse. Not many people get to work with Akhal-Teke horses. They're from the steppes countries, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan. Akhal-Teke is a breed that came up from Africa, and they gave rise, a lot of their blood, to the thoroughbred end of it, and also to the Arabs. But they're a sensitive breed, and this guy wanted to be a bad horse. He wanted to be a gang leader.
Does he want to be a tough guy?
He wanted to be a tough guy. And at one point, his pulse rate, we have heart rate monitors on them now, and we try to work with the lowest stress possible. And at one point, his pulse rate was 180, and he was striking with his front feet and kicking with his rear feet. And he's a tough kid. And when he left, I had plastic bags all over him and picking up his feet, and his pulse rate was 47. And I was just a happy camper, I have to tell you.
It sounds like the horse was a happy camper.
Yeah, he was a happy camper too.
We're just really thankful to have had you on the set and be able to talk about what you do for not only the riders but for the horses as well.
I'm pleased to be here with you.
Well, so much more to get to from HRTV's Victory Lap.
Coming to you from the floor of the International Equestrian Festival in the horse capital of the world, Lexington, Kentucky. We'll be right back after this.
Nothing says I love you like effective flea control. Show your dog you really care with Advantage.
Well, welcome back to HRTV's Victory Lap. We are inside at the International Equestrian Festival here in downtown Lexington. But Gil, it's time to take this show out to the streets.
That's right. This evening is going to be the Parade of Breeds on the streets of downtown Lexington. And I understand we might even see some Hollywood stars of the four-legged variety. Let's take a look.
The parade starts at 6 o'clock on Main Street. We have about 70 horses in the parade, everything from Haflingers to Akhal-Tekes to 3 troops of Tennessee Walkers. We have horse-drawn carriages with the mayor and the governor, and we also have a group of our famous Segway riders carrying our banner down through the parade.
This parade is a great addition to the celebration of the horse that we're experiencing, having the World Games here. You know, they've got loads of horses in this parade of every kind and character, and I think everybody downtown here is going to thoroughly enjoy it.
Lexington has a long tradition as being the horse capital of the world, and so it's only appropriate with all of our guests here from around the world that we have a parade to actually celebrate the wonderful horses we have in our city and the wonderful equestrians we have as well.
We have a horse that was a stunt horse in the Hidalgo movie, and we also have a stunt horse, one of the horses that was in the new up-and-coming Secretariat movie that is premiering very soon.
And I'm here with a number of owners and breeders of Haflinger horses from across the country who've gathered here today to present the Haflinger horse in this parade in Lexington in honor of the World Equestrian Games. Really excited to be here. We, in particular, are presenting Haflinger horses, which is a smaller breed of horse that originated in Austria. And we're presenting them in a number of different ways. We have 8-horse hitch of Haflingers, which we're getting ready here. I'm excited to just be part of this whole party for the horse that we're having in Lexington for the next 16 days. I think the city of Lexington's done a terrific job of putting together just a fantastic event, and we're thrilled to be part of it.
We've not in this area had a horse parade of this nature before, so it's going to be really exciting for the audience to see the different breeds of horses, carriages, riders, and everything in between.
In terms of the Buffalo Trace Mounted Patrol, this is a civilian group, all volunteers. The unit is divided into several sections. We have a search and rescue section, which is very involved. Most every state in the United States has a mounted patrol. This is new for Kentucky. It's kind of an area that has been lacking in patrol, and they're really excited about this. First time anything like this has ever been done in downtown Lexington, to have an all equine parade. So, you know, we're part of the World Equestrian Games experience of the area.
I am representing American Mustang and Burro Association with my Mustang Bella. She is an 8-year-old Mustang who was caught wild in Nevada at age 18 months. A Mustang is a feral horse from out west. They originally came from the Spanish horses that were brought over hundreds of years ago, but they're actually just now basically feral horses. This is our first parade, so I'm not really sure how she's going to be. She's a little nervous right now, but she seems to be holding it together well. And to see all these wonderful other horses and breeds represented is a lot of fun and really exciting.
Tomorrow we have demonstrations with live horses all day long from 1 p.m. until 9 p.m. We also have seminars in our conference room, everything from a first-time owner series to very technical veterinary conferences. We also have entertainment on our Hollywood Casino Hospitality Atrium stage all day long. Dancers, children's groups, adult groups. We have singers, bands, ensembles, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, this is going to really sound kind of sappy here, but I was just a huge fan of the movie Hidalgo and being able to see the actual superstar, the horse in there. But the only thing missing for me was Viggo Mortensen. I would have liked to have seen him riding him down the street there.
Well, I was pleased to be able to see the beautiful Haflinger horses from Deer Haven Farm, located right here in Lexington, Kentucky. I have a personal connection to them. I've had the privilege of working with those horses and assisting with the training. So it's just great to see all the breeds here in Lexington, and what an opportunity for everyone to see such a panorama of all the breeds we have in our horse world.
Well, now we are pleased to be joined on the set by Chester Weber, and a 7-time United States 4-in-hand driving champion. But if that wasn't enough, the first American to medal in the Driving World Championships. Chester, just amazing credentials there. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Chester, a lot of our viewers may not be familiar with the discipline of combined driving. Could you explain to us how the competition is going to go here at the World Games and what you're going to have to do with your team of horses?
Sure. The competition is not unlike 3-day event riding. It's made up of 3 different competitions, the first day being dressage. That'll go on Thursday and Friday. That's split into 2 different, there's a morning and an afternoon session. Each session will have about 6 drivers. But prior to that, not unlike many of the other disciplines here, we have a vet check on Wednesday morning. So all the horses will be presented in hand to the jury and to a member of the vet panel and jogged to ensure that the horses are fit to compete and sound. When that's done, that's actually a part of the competition. That's very important. Then there'll be a draw in the afternoon, and then you'll draw a spot for either Thursday or Friday for the dressage. We'll complete our dressage test. That's done in a little bit bigger ring typically than most ridden tests. It's about the size of an American football field. It's 100 meters by 40. It's made up of 16 different movements, walk and trot, some other technical movements, one-handed, there's 3 one-handed circles, shoulder in for the leaders, all of that hooked to a carriage with 4 horses working harmoniously.
Well, I know your family is in horse racing, but you elected to go to driving.
Well, you know, I got a little bit big for horse racing. You know, 190 pounds soaking wet. I think you have to be about 120 to be a jockey. It was my dream as a young kid. Still have a lot of involvement in the thoroughbred operation. Train my horses at Live Oak in Florida, and it's exciting to be part of that.
Well, thanks for joining us so much.
You've met with a tremendous amount of success, and we wish you all the best here at the World Equestrian Games.
Thanks, guys.
Absolutely, and so much more to come on HRTV's Victory Lap. We will be right back after this.
For flea control that works, give your beloved feline Advantage, the flea treatment that's the cat's meow.
Welcome back to HRTV's Victory Lap. It's good to have you with us.
And so much more still to come. So much happening here in the region. We don't even have enough time to get to it all, but here's a look at what's coming up at the All-Tech FEI World Equestrian Games.
And a look at what's on tap right here at the Prevent Feeders International Equestrian Festival presented by HRTV.
Much more to see here in the next 14 days, and you can watch it all on HRTV's Victory Lap. I'm Jill Byrne.
And I'm Gil Merrick. We'll see you next time.